Good afternoon. Top Philippine and U.S. military officials are considering adding more Edca sites in the country amid Washington's efforts to deter China's increasingly aggressive actions in the South China Sea and toward Taiwan. In an annual board meeting on Thursday, U.S. Indo-Pacific Command Chief Admiral John Aquilino says he and Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Bronner Jr. discussed increasing the number of Philippine military bases under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA. Sources knowledgeable about the discussions say there were no new sites recommended so far. The sources say both sides have yet to look at the options, likely airports and seaports with military and Coast Guard presence. A joint survey with the United States will be conducted before the recommended sites are selected. Bronner says other countries should not worry about the selection of EDCA sites as they were primarily intended for humanitarian assistance and disaster response. EDCA allows the U.S. military to build facilities and preposition supplies, equipment, and material inside strategically located Philippine military bases. Beijing believes that the additional sites are aimed at deterring China, which sees Taiwan as part of its territory. The Department of Budget and Management tells the House of Representatives the Office of the President did not bypass Congress when it provided millions of pesos in confidential funds to the Office of the Vice President in 2022. Representative Elizalde Co of Ako Bicol Party List says Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman wrote a letter to the House Appropriations Panel assuring lawmakers that the OP did not subvert the House's power over the purse after releasing funds to Vice President Sara Duterte's office. Co says Pangandaman told him that the 125 million pesos in confidential funds released to the OVP last year was sourced from the 7 billion peso contingent fund in the national budget for 2022. Pangandaman, according to Ko, noted that the release was intended to support the OVP's good governance engagements in social services projects. Lawmakers from the opposition had questioned such allocation, pointing out that there was no line item in the OVP's 2022 budget on confidential funds. A Kuwait juvenile court has convicted the killer of overseas Filipino worker Jullebee Ranara. In a text message to INQUIRER.net, DFA Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega says 17-year-old Turki Ayed Al-Azmi was sentenced to 15 years in prison for murder and 1 year for driving without license. De Vega says the lesser penalties were due to Al-Azmi being a minor. De Vega adds that they are also waiting for the Philippine Embassy in Kuwait to send a final report containing complete details on the decision. Ranara, a 35-year-old household service worker in Kuwait, was murdered by the 17-year-old son of her employer earlier this year. Her body was burned and found buried in the desert on January 21, 2023. Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. Top military and U.S. military officials eye more EDCA sites. Kuwait court convicts killer of OFW Jullebee Ranara. And Libya floods death toll rises to more than 11,000. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good afternoon.